Hi, I'm Mike, founder of GoodBed.com. Today we're going to be taking you through the products of a company called BedInABox. Now we think this is a really interesting story because you may think of the term BedInABox as sort of a generic catch-all term used to refer to the products of any number of companies who compress their mattresses in a small box and ship them out to you. But what you may not know is that long before companies like Casper and Tuft & Needle came along, there was a company called BedInABox that actually invented all the processes and machinery that makes this whole thing possible. They've been making mattresses since 2006 using this methodology, and they're still making them today using a very similar method. And so these represent actually the most time-tested compressed and rolled mattresses on the market. So we're excited to show them to you. Stick around. Another thing that's really unique about BedInABox, in addition to having started the concept of compressing and roll packing mattresses, is that they are actually now owned by the company that has always, with the exception of a couple-year period, made these mattresses. And that company that makes these mattresses not only does that, but they also make the foam that goes into these mattresses. And that's really quite unique. There's a lot of mattress companies out there online these days that claim to save you money by cutting out the middleman, but it's actually quite the rare exception that you find that those companies actually do make the mattresses that they are selling you. And this is one of those rare cases where that is indeed the case. So the BedInABox product line today consists of 4 models that have been around a long time, like over a decade, and then 2 models that are brand new. In fact, as of the time of this video, they're not even yet on the market. And they start at about $699 in a queen size and go up from there. But we're going to take you through all those and show you some of their specific features and characteristics. Now, one characteristic that's going to be true of all the BedInABox mattresses that use this 3-inch layer of gel memory foam is going to be that slow melting memory feel, that slow responsiveness that we talk about. And you could I just wanted to illustrate how it looks on the mattress itself. You could see that it's got that kind of delayed responsiveness that you kind of would expect from memory foam. So if that's something that you're looking for, you're definitely going to get a good amount of that on most of these BedInABox mattresses. So now here we are on the flagship model in the BedInABox line, which also is, in a sense, the entry-level model because it does come in 2 versions, which are the starting price points in this line. It's called the original, but you may see it referred to online as the pack bed. That was the original name for it. But this is a model that's really started it all. This was essentially the first bed in a box, not just as in the proper noun brand name, but in terms of lowercase bed in a box. So this is, and it's more or less produced in the same way that it always has been. In the early days when this concept was new, it was a little more over-engineered. They had a 2.4 pound density base foam that they don't need to use, frankly, anymore. But other than that, it's basically the same product that you will see reviews of going all the way back to 2006. So that's, I think, something that you can definitely put into your consideration list. So it's an 11-inch mattress with, as you can see here, just 2 simple layers, a 3-inch layer of 3-pound density gel memory foam and an 8-inch support core. Nowadays it's a 2-pound density, which if you've watched our other videos, you know is still a very solid density for a support core. And the light version of this, which will save you a couple $100 if you're looking for a little thinner profile mattress, maybe for a guest room or something, is really the same construction with the exception of a 2-inch shorter support core. So the top part of it is going to be the same, and it should have a pretty similar feel. But basically, this gel foam, as you can see here, it's got that kind of slow responding feel that you'd expect to have from a memory foam. And I'd say it's got actually a fair bit of softness to it, which plays into kind of how we would overall characterize this mattress, which we put it at about a medium, but it's one of those kind of it achieves that through kind of the yin and yang of a relatively soft memory foam up on top with a much firmer support foam underneath. So that's kind of how it gets to that medium. And as a result of that support foam, I would say you don't necessarily sink too deep into it, because it's 3 inches on top of that very firm core. So I'd say as memory foam mattresses go, a little shallower cushioning, and even in the scheme of overall mattresses, I might say average to shallower than average cushioning on this original mattress. So now we've moved up a notch in the line to what is called the Azul. And again, this is a model that's been around a long time. And the real difference with the Azul is that, number one, it adds a transition layer. So this transition layer, it's called Pluralux, and this is basically kind of a latex-like foam. It's got in this particular model, it has a 3.6 pound density, definitely a super quick responding foam, definitely got a lot of like supportive qualities, but still much more softness than this base foam here. So it's definitely going to help kind of ease your transition between this, again, relatively soft gel memory foam, which is still a 3-inch layer, just like the original, and then this much firmer base foam. So I think in general, you're going to find, because this top 3 inches is essentially the same material, you're going to find that the surface softness is about the same. We'd still classify it as a medium, but we would say this one has deeper cushioning than that one. So it allows for more conformance. You get a little bit more of that hugged or cradled sensation. And certainly that's going to allow it to better accommodate side sleepers, particularly if you're on the curvier side than you'd find on the original or the original light. The other big difference that you add when you step up to the Azul is some cooling features. Specifically, on top of the gel memory foam, you have this layer of phase change material, which, as we've explained in a number of other videos, is a cooling feature that basically works by microscopic wax beads that essentially will change from a solid state to a liquid state as they absorb heat, and that creates the sensation of cooling for you as you're on it. So you can feel a coolness to the touch. There's no question, this is the original here, and I'm able to definitely feel a palpable coolness to the touch between these two. Now, the second reason I'm able to feel that is the second cooling feature, and that is actually a yarn used in this cover that has cooling properties. So those are the two cooling features that you get in the Azul that you won't find in the original. So now we've moved up to the Tranquillium model, which sells for $13.99 in a queen size. And I should have mentioned before that the Azul sells for $11.99 in a queen size, and that all the prices that I'm quoting in this video are going to be before any GoodBed discounts are applied. Now, the Tranquillium is going to be very similar construction to the Azul, with a couple key exceptions. Number one, it does not have that phase change layer on top of the gel memory foam. But number two, what it does have is an extra inch of foam in that support layer. So instead of a 6-inch layer of support foam, you're going to have a 7-inch layer of support foam. And by the way, it is that same high density support foam used in the original and in the Azul. And then you're going to have the same 2-inch layer of that Pluralux kind of latex-like foam in a 3.6 pound density. And then on top, same 3-inch layer of that 3-pound density gel memory foam. And then what you're going to have on the cover is a tensile cover, which instead of having that the fiber with that cooling yarn, you have a tensile, which also has its own cooling properties as well as moisture wicking properties. And so that's really kind of, you're getting that cooling in a different way through this cover. So that's the construction of the Tranquillium. Now, in terms of how all that adds up to the feel, we would say the feel, not surprisingly, is quite similar to the Azul, but just has, in our opinion, a little bit more softness. We probably would still classify it as a medium, but it's definitely towards that softer end of that medium classification. And likewise, maybe we'd say just slightly more kind of cushioning depth, hug, cradled sensation as well. So now we've moved up to one of their new models, which is the first ever hybrid that BedInABox has ever released. And this is going to have a very different feel from any of the models that we've shown you so far, because this is the first model that doesn't have any memory foam in it. So just for starters, I want to show you that you're not going to get any of that sort of slow responding memory feel, right? It just responds instantly, and it's even got bounce, of course. And that bounce is going to come from the fact that there's actually 1,700 total coils in these. That's queen size. But let's take the construction from the top just to give you a sense. You got 3 inches of that Pluralux foam in a 3.2 pound density. And so again, we talked about how this is sort of a latex-like foam. So it's got a lot of springiness to it, and that's what you're feeling right up on top with that kind of surface bounce. Then below that, you've got an 1.5 inch layer of microcoils. You've got about 900 of those. So that's, again, of course, a lot of springiness. Then you got a 1 inch sort of transition layer, if you will, which is that same 2 pound density support foam that we've shown you previously. And then you've got a 7 inch pocketed coil layer, and there's 800 of these about. And then a 1 inch layer, of course, of just support foam for those coils to rest on at the bottom. So a total of about 13 inches in this mattress, and it's going to list for $21.99 in a queen size. And so overall, we would say this one is going to have a little bit firmer feel than some of the other ones we've shown you. We might classify this as a medium firm, meaning just to the firmer side of medium. And while it does have maybe not quite as much hugged or cradled sensation, it does still have a fair bit of conforming ability. It's just maybe a little bit lower point elasticity than you're going to find on the mattresses that have that kind of memory foam up at the top. That memory foam is going to conform super closely to your body, whereas a surface like this and a material like this, it's going to have a little more gradual angle down to your body, but it's still going to be able to accommodate your curves when you're on your side, on account of the fact that, you know, these coils and so forth, these microcoils, are pretty good from a conforming standpoint. So overall, we might say like average cushioning depth, but I wanted to give you that little added color there. So now we've moved up to their newest concept, and this is, again, not yet on the market, so you may have to wait, in fact, for this to even be available. But it's called the Cure. It's a 12-inch mattress that will retail for $23.99 in a queen size. And this is a mattress that really takes copper infusion and that whole concept and the associated benefits really to a level that we have not yet seen on the market. It starts with the cover, which is infused with copper. It's a stretch cover. And then the next layer you have is a 3-inch layer of that same 3 pound density memory foam. However, this is, instead of being infused with gel, it's infused with copper. Then you have a 1.5 inch layer of copper titanium microcoils. And then you have a 1 inch layer of that Pluralux foam. This one's in a 3.4 pound density, but otherwise it's that same Pluralux foam that we've shown you earlier. And then you've got a 7-inch support layer below that. Now, the thing that's kind of interesting about this bed is that it is able to utilize a lot more copper than other folks. In fact, they've measured this. I'm not sure what the exact measurement is, but particles per something, and they've been able to measure that this mattress, as it's designed, contains about 80 times more copper than other mattresses that are out there that you may have seen that really promote their use of copper in the mattress. And now, one reason that they felt comfortable doing that is that there's been a recent change to the CertiPure guidelines. CertiPure has decided that they no longer need to test for copper and silver as part of their testing procedures. They don't feel that those are dangerous material. And so that has allowed these guys to create a foam that still passes CertiPure standards, but now has significantly more copper in it. So you may see other companies introducing more copper into their mattresses as well, but for the time being, as soon as this hits the market, it's likely to have the most copper by far of any options out there. So if you're looking for the kind of health benefits associated with copper, this could be an exciting option for you to look out for. Now, in terms of the feel, we would classify this as probably the softest of the BedInABox lineup. We probably would put it at a medium soft on our softness spectrum, meaning just to the softer side of medium. And we also would say that the combination of the memory foam with the microcoils below probably gives you the most conformance of any of these options, the most of the kind of hugged or cradled sensation. So definitely deeper than average cushioning on this. It's going to be good for people who are looking for that hug or cradled sensation, but also side sleepers, curvier folks, and the like. So we hope you found this to be a helpful overview of the full mattress lineup from BedInABox.com. For more information about these mattresses or for help in choosing the right mattress for you, you can go to GoodBed.com. In the meantime, we thank you for watching and we really hope you sleep well.